Magnoon's out. They're getting chased down. The rocket comes out, but it's Prototype coming up with a big pick. Solo King gets the Zanyas, but it's only going to delay his own death. He wants the Penta. He's going to be running for it. They're chasing it down. Twist advance. They're going to give it up to him. He's going to pick this one up in a delayed shot. Penta kill from Prototype.
And that's going to be game.
2 inhibitors down. They're eyeballing the third. Oh, wait, what's this? They're eyeballing the Nexus now. But if they can play like that, they may just have a chance. What an incredible control game.
Nintendo's going to look for a steal.
Yeah, he has the flash to get in and out if he wants to. And
oh
my goodness, he takes it on a W. What? And they're jumping all over enemy. That's a triple kill. Can Nien get more? It looks like Magnoon's going to pick one up, but a quadra kill going over to Nien. Tanso.
A quadra kill again.
Wolf gets the Zanyas off, but it doesn't even matter. Godlike kill from Magnoon. They're jumping. Otter with the shield. I don't think it's going to matter. Cat God going down. Everybody is up, and just Magnoon finally falling over. The towers are going down. This one is all over.
They do finally get him, and they're just trading back and forth. This fight is absolutely insane. It's the second time, but a reverse ace is going to come out here from Curse Academy and a dragon.
What a crazy fight.
Stuck in the Cataclysm. He will fall, but the pop comes on in, and that's just going to be another ace.
Oh,
Monster comes in. Keen comes up as well. He's just going to go straight on in. Deathmark applied to Golden Glue, and it pops. Dominating coming out from Keen, and Haunter in the back as well, taking down Kez, and that's a 2 for none, and I feel like this should be game. Curse Academy do it. They take down Complexity White in 2 games. They're going all the way in. Impaler ace in the hole, does pick up the kill from Mash, as now he can just focus the inhibitor. 2-man shockwave comes in, distance on top of it, that damage. Jesse picks up 1, the other goes over to Impaler, and now that inhibitor is forfeit, and this is looking like game.
Finally, Coast decide to just put them out of their misery and say, you know what, it's over. It's 2-0.
Yep.
And they move on to be in that top 4, so they will compete in the offline portion of the tournament. Best of 5s, double elimination, and they are tournament favorites to make it out of that.
Hello and welcome to the NA LCS Expansion Tournament. I'm James Dash Patterson, and we're coming to you live from the ESL studios here in Burbank, California. Now, alongside me, I've got 4 of the players from our teams today. We've got Rux from Final 5. We've got Nien from Team Fusion, Saint Vicious from Curse Academy, and Mash from Team Coast. Now, these 4 gentlemen, along with their teams, are going to be battling it out this weekend for the final 2 slots in the spring split of the NA LCS. Our first series today is going to be between Final 5 and Team Fusion. So, Rux, I'm going to turn to you. Final 5 definitely considered to be the underdog coming into this weekend. Now, you, as the veteran on the team, what have you done to help prepare your guys to leave it all out on the Rift this weekend?
Well, basically, I just told my team to just have some fun and just play your heart out.
Now, do they find solace in the fact that you've been here before, you've felt these pressures?
Yeah, they know I've been playing in the scene very long, and yeah.
All right, now you'll be battling it off against Nien and Team Fusion. Nien, Team Fusion's only been together for a couple months, so that's a very short amount of time in which to build team synergy. Do you believe that you guys have established just that, enough so that you can take a spot in the LCS?
Mm-hmm. I think there's still a lot of rough spots in our play, but I think we've drastically improved since the start, so I think we can take the set as long as we play well.
Now, on top of that, you're also finding yourself back in that AD carry position as well as the shot caller for the team. How does that feel?
It feels good, man. It's fun killing people as AD carry again. It's if we make LCS, it's going to be fun crushing double lift.
Absolutely.
I
like that. A little trash talk already. Well, I'm sure you guys are both eager to get back to your teams and do those last-minute preparations, so I'll send you on your way back to your player rooms. In the meantime, Mash, Saint, get over here. All right, our next series of the day is going to be between you two. That'll happen in a little while, but I just want to pick your brains a little bit. Saint, we're finding you in the expansion tournament. You're a player that's been around the League of Legends scene for a very long time. You've been in the LCS, playing multiple roles, jungle and support. You've been to All-Stars. You've been a coach. You've even been a caster. So talk to me about the drive or the decision to make this run back towards the LCS.
Honestly, I'm just here to help my team. Making it in the LCS doesn't really mean anything to me.
All right, that's fair enough. So having been a guy in the LCS though, and pairing up with some of these newcomers, what is it that you tell them, you know, on this journey up to what would be considered the big leagues?
Talking about my team specifically? Well, none of the people on my team are like newcomers. Like Hop is a veteran in the scene. Like Bunny played in the LCS. Keen played in OGN. And Hunters was a long time with Law Pro. So, I mean, we have a pretty seasoned crew.
So you'd say you guys are all pretty confident, having been, you know, at the top of the game at some point, that you're going to succeed this weekend?
Yeah, we feel pretty good right now.
All right. And you're going to be facing off against Team Coast. Mash, you guys have seen the addition of both Jezzes and Impaler from the EU LCS. So a couple other veterans joining from a different region. Have you guys picked up any tips and tricks from the EU?
Nah, they're all right players, you know. But they're actually really smart players, and we have like different perspectives. So sometimes we clash, but at the end of the day, you know, we always come to an agreement, and you know, I think we really mesh well.
All right, fantastic. Well, it's going to be very exciting to see your teams face off later today. But we're going to waste no time getting into our first series. I'm going to send it right over to Pyra and Zyrene to get us into the game.
Thank you very much, Dash, and an awesome transition it was. It's good to be here again, Zyrene. Thanks for coming on the desk again with me.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
That's the way to do. We've got quite a show today, but we had to look at the tournament bracket just to clear you guys up on what's been going on here and what will go on going forward. So to start off this tournament, we had a whole 13 teams. Whittled that a little bit down now. We're making our way over into 4, and it's going to be double elimination. But don't think the pressure's off there. There's only going to be 2 LCS spots up for grabs.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, is that all 4 teams today are actually winners because the 2 losers of this tournament end up and auto-qualify for Challenger in 2015 spring. And there's more announcements on that coming Monday on LOLesports.com. So keep your eyes out for those if you want to follow the Challenger series and see what's going on.
That's going to be a pretty exciting time for all of them. I mean, this is really big for all these teams. There's definitely some newcomers, some old players we've seen taking the screen over there. But the matches today are going to be pretty exciting, as well as throughout this entire weekend. I'm pretty much looking forward to just about everything that's going to be going down.
Yeah, I hope everybody else is looking forward to this as much as we are, because there's a lot of seasoned veterans, like you said. There's some newcomers to it, too, and most of those guys are on Final 5.
Yeah, it's a big story right there. And, you know, we have Fusion. They're made up of a whole lot of different players from all across the way. It is a pretty accurate name when you think about it, but that's that first match today. That's going to be Final 5 taking on Team Fusion. The winner of that one will move on to a match that will determine who will be going to the LCS as that first expansion spot.
Yeah, and as past me, if you guys saw that roll in, I was like, whoa, I just said the whole tournament format. It is best of 5s, double elimination here. 2 teams will make it out. And the second match of the day is Curse Academy versus Coast Gaming. Loser of that falls into the losers part of the bracket, and the winner goes to the winners finals. So there's a lot at stake here. Big best of 5, a lot of time on these matches. A lot of stamina is going to be required here in terms of what you can accomplish mentally and how consistently you can do that over a series, because this is a little bit longer than we've seen these teams play out before.
Absolutely. And, you know, Fusion have only played a couple of games here. We've seen Matt Noon have a 100% win rate on Poppy. That's been a pretty big
100%
stable for them. Yeah, absolutely. But on the other hand, we've seen quite a lot of awesome performance here at a Final 5, and we'll see if they can continue it again. That's going to be our first match, taking a look at today's matches, Final 5 versus Fusion. Like we said, best of 5, and then, of course, it splits right into the next one.
Yeah, and that's Coast versus Curse Academy, which is coming up later, and that's going to be actually cast by, I believe, Kobe and Freak later on. So stay tuned
get a little
for that
rotation,
too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, after that one. So we're getting ready to set up this first game. There's quite a lot to talk about here, just because Fusion, definitely a hyped team, considering they came, you know, really built in over a couple of weeks and just kind of came out of nowhere in that regard. But the team players, they've been around for a while. And take a look over at Final 5. Speaking of a big underdog story right now, they are definitely going to be the team to be the dark horse this tournament so far.
Yeah, and talk about a team that was formed only a couple of weeks ago. Final 5 came into this thinking that they were going to make this team in a couple of weeks. They didn't have expansion even on their radar, and they were thinking about next year's Challenger. And they've already accomplished their goal, because no matter if they end up losing in this tournament, they've still gone further than they thought they would have. And there's just, basically they have everything to gain and nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, and they've got a pretty experienced lineup of players from different places, but not so much in the LCS. In the top lane, it's going to be Rux, Keenan, Santos. He kind of is the rock that holds that team together, the calm one.
Yeah, and then you're going to see Shorter Ace in the jungle there, the Wonder Kid of Washington on your screen.
Is that the Shorter Ace? Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, in the mid lane, it's going to be Gate, previously known as Clackbard. He has been up and down throughout the solo queue ladders quite a while now.
And then we're going to see, speaking of solo queue ladders, it is Prototype White finally putting a face to that solo queue AD carry Vayne player that we see all day, every day, grinding it out. And Then last member of that team rounding it out.
Rule 18 is going to be supporting him in the bottom lane. And what is Rule 18, Zyrene? I don't have a list in front of me.
Well, I think the actual Rule 18 is, if it can be named, it can be hated, but he's just the rule, so you can't hate on that.
Hey, man.
It's not named
Don't hate the player.
Hate the game. But don't hate the game. League of Legends is awesome.
It's a pretty sweet game. Over on the other side, we've got Team Fusion. Of course, in the top lane, you all know him. It's MacNoon.
Yeah, coming back with the very aggressive carry top lane style. Then we see Nintendo in the jungle here with a new haircut.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think it too. Huhi is going to be the mid laner right there. He's been a pretty solid, consistent rock, and he was really a guy that they thought that was the best option for them to pick up. He speaks 3 languages fluently too, so quite a connoisseur all around.
Yeah, so no communication problems there. He's actually from Big Foul Incredible Miracle. And speaking of people that have been around the scene, it is Nian. Whoo, giving the wave there. Back on the 80 carry role, he is feeling very confident there.
It's good to see him doing that again. I feel like he's much more comfortable in it.
And then we're going to see Glebe Glarbu on the support.
Speaking of comfortable back in the role, we saw Chunky step in the last time around, but Glebe is back. He's ready to rock.
Yeah, he is. It's basically been no hiccup there either. Nian has been scrimming with both Chunky Fresh and Glebe Glarbu, so there is no kind of like, oh, he's back in after being out for a while. He's been playing solo queue nonstop, and he's been scrimming with the team despite being off the roster for that little stint where they were qualifying for this event.
Yeah, and you heard Nian talking earlier. He's very, very confident his team can play well. They've had some kinks to work out, but they've gotten to that point. And, you know, going forward, they're confident they can take on Final 5, but they're not overlooking him. You cannot overlook a team like Final 5. They really are the dark horses this time.
Yeah, I think Fusion are taking it game by game, especially since we're playing on 4.20. And a lot of teams really haven't just figured out the strategies of it just yet. Like maybe Final 5 are on a different page and might be a page ahead of Fusion, so they'll have to play some mid-series catch-up. Or it's the other way around, and the individual skill just kind of closes that gap, and Fusion can come out on top no problem. So it is 4.20, and Callista is disabled, so there's going to be none of that today. Just doing a little janitorial duty there, telling you guys. And really, really excited because Final 5, big underdogs here, but both these teams both have kind of a lack of synergy and experience as their weaknesses. Final 5 formed very recently, and this is actually the first time that they have met each other in person.
Oh, yeah. And it's a big one. They had, you know, the coach, Miss Peach, was talking a little bit earlier about how it was kind of a cool thing for them to kind of all finally get together, and maybe that gives you a little bit of instant synergy going forward. They're going to need it. Fusion has pinpointed this weakness as being really the one leader of the team is really going to be Shorter Ace. He's kind of the one that makes a lot of call out. He's not the only one. The shot calling is kind of a community effort, mostly from the bot lane, but Shorter has a lot of input on that. And they're going to do all they can on the Fusion side to shut him down. They really know what it's like to get the Wonder Kid rolling.
Yeah, and he kind of sticking to his guns with the Lee Sin pick and the Rengar pick still, despite it being 420. A lot of people have like dabbled in the Warwick, but haven't gone all in on it just yet.
Yeah, here we are, loading up into picks and bans. I want to talk about the Warwick a little bit because we're likely to see that show up one way or the other in the ban column, but you never know. Nintendo, he played Jarvan and Kha'Zix last time around, and he made them look pretty good considering how his team was able to capitalize after the fact. Syndra Vayne taken off the table. No surprises that Prototype won't pick up that 80 carry.
Yeah, the guy with 1,400 Vayne games under his belt. His next most played is Jinx, so if they continue to throw bans at Final 5 and at Prototype in particular, they would want to take the Vayne and the Jinx both off the table.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense too. Gnar kind of been a fairly permanently banned fixture, or at least taken almost immediately when it does get picked up. Both MacNoon and Rux both know how to play that champion quite well. Caston also off the table.
Yeah, and you can see the communication there just by who's talking here. You see Prototype and Rule 18 on the bottom of your screen and Shorter Ace in the middle top. Rux, pretty quiet around this time. He's just listening, taking in everything that they're giving him, and then helping click those champions for the bans.
Same thing for Gate. He kind of tends to be a little more reserved talking about that. Now, the Jarvan ban away is interesting from Nintendo. The Warwick ban, that's kind of forced there, but that does leave a couple of strong junglers still on the table.
It leaves the Lee Sin up for Shorter Ace. It leaves the Rengar up as well.
He's yeah.
Pick it! Just pick the Lee Sin!
Please, guys, I really want it.
That's what he just had a big smile on his face there.
Oh, boy.
He's hovering it. He's hovering it there. And Lee Sin is also Nintendo's most played champion in solo queue, so it accomplishes twofold. It takes it away, and it gives Shorter Ace his most comfortable highlight reel champion.
Yeah, there's a lot of jungle picks still available for Nintendo, though. He did play Kha'Zix last time. Pantheon has been a very popular choice. We've also seen the rise of Fiddlesticks again.
Yeah, Fiddlesticks with the sustain in the jungle. has been something that people put a lot of priority on, but at this point, they've already picked their jungler. You don't need to pick your jungler unless you're just trying to hide your hand, and you pick high priority things that are contested. The Nami is really good. It's going to force Rule 18 onto his Janna, and the Jace is a really good pickup here too, because that's going to force Gate onto something like the Twisted Fate, because his champion pool is not as extensive as you would think with things that he's mastered. He really loves the Jace, and his name is Gate because it's twofold. He loves the ultimate on Twisted Fate, and he also Acceleration Gate.
Ah.
Those are his two most played champions that he just really excels on. He does have the Orianna in his back pocket, and he does have a bunch of other champions too. He has been playing the Lissandra, and that is a flex pick that Rux could pick up as well. So that's a really good champion to pick this early on in Champion Select.
Yeah, another flex pick there, the Jace, both Macnu and Hu, he can play it very, very well. So that, we really don't know where it is, and I like the Lissandra answer for that. Janna has also been a very popular choice. Rule 18 loving that champion. Of course, with Nami not available as well, Glebe has shown quite a lot of time on that one, especially during his stint on TSM.
Yeah, that's true. The Nami was something that he played a lot of. It's actually his most played champion in solo queue currently with the time that he's been spending outside of the LCS. So right now, Fusion, they have to start getting their composition together. Right now, they have that Macnoon Jace, and if they lock in, they could lock it into mid, it could be locked into top. But here's the thing too, is Corki is a flex pick as well. Yeah. So it could just be a really big poke composition. I have no idea what they're doing here. That means Final 5 at the same time have almost no idea either, because Corki's been a flex pick, Ezreal's been a flex pick for the mid lane now on 420.
Yeah, it really does shake a lot of things up here, and the preseason's always great. You get to see this insane compositions coming out and just being incredibly powerful. I've seen some of the same things happening over in OGN in the preseason as well. And I like the fact that Lissandra's been coming back a lot. It has been more in the top lane, but it does give this propensity, like the chase down all in, still burst, but able to lock down single targets.
Yeah, and a great thing here that Fusion has done is they've picked kind of ambiguous things for the most part here, because it could be a Jace top, Corki mid, then they pick their AD carry last, or it could be a Jace mid, then they last pick what Macnoon's going to have, so they know where that Lissandra is going. Is it going top? Is it going middle? And they 100% know what they want to play into it. So very well done here by Fusion while playing the red side last pick.
Yeah, I really like that coming out from them. And also, I'm liking this Caitlyn. We haven't seen it a ton, but it is one of Prototype's more played champions.
Yeah.
A little bit behind Vayne and Jinx, but it definitely fits into his playstyle. And now we're looking for what the last thing Fusion does. We didn't talk about this too much, but Nintendo used to be a massive Elise player and kind of prioritized that full AP build. He still has the option, the Magus Enchant.
Yeah, and it is going to be that Caitlyn for Prototype. He has about 1/10 of the games on that as opposed to Vayne. And the last lock-in is LeBlanc here for Hui. So it is going to be a Jace top for Macnoon, one of the champions that he made a name on himself for with the very aggressive lane. And the fact that it's a Jace top versus Lissandra, this is not going to be your standard just farm up top lane. It's going to be try to poke each other down, get them out of the lane, and then show up to the fights and accomplish your poke, get your engage off. This is going to be a really explosive game here, especially with these mid lane assassins on the table too.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a rough laning phase, I feel, for Final 5 in a couple of places, though. Rux facing down Macnoon, I mean, that's going to be a tough matchup regardless, but of course he's going to get a little bit zoned out. The Shock Blast start to hurt pretty real after the fact, but I do like that if they can get out of that phase, they have a really, really strong late game, especially between, they have kind of this weird, to overuse a phrase, fusion of ideas here. Caitlyn and Zed on the same team. I mean, it's not something we always see. Also, the Lee Sin pickup, too. It really means they can do a lot with their comp.
Yeah, I really like the composition that Final 5 had crafted for themselves here. I'm not a huge fan of what Fusion has going for them at the moment, but LeBlanc is extremely strong. Corki is one of the best AD carries in 420, and at the same time, they do have the Jace in the top lane. So that's the question mark here for me, is how well is that going to perform in Macnoon's hands? But it is Macnoon.
True that. So. Well, with all that said and done, we want to know what your guys' question marks are. You can tweet us at LOL Esports using the hashtag LCS Expansion and let us know what you think games going forward and all of that. But it looks like we're loading up onto the Rift.
Yeah, and a big thing here that I want to talk about is the fact that LeBlanc has been seeing more and more play. So there's a really big thing here, and I actually want to cover a lot of it because a lot of the mid lane assassins have been seeing play. And the reasons behind that is, one, people aren't taking Athenes. It's not as effective anymore. The people don't have that MR. Then levels 6 through 9, you actually have less base stats than you did before. Less HP, less MR. Means you're easier to burst. LeBlanc basically has to do 7% less damage than she did previously to kill you. So it's like LeBlanc got a 7% damage buff in a way because everybody's like that much weaker. And around level 6 to 9, that's when you get your ultimate. That's when you get your burst move. That's when you max an ability. And it's also the fact that Morellonomicon has 33% more AP than an Athene's Unholy Grail. You're doing more damage for less money because it's 2,100 gold. And for that cost, you can buy that plus a Doran's Ring, and then you are on par in terms of how much money you spent for an Athene's, but you have way more AP. So that's the whole reason that people are picking LeBlanc
way
right now.
too much math for me to be a
There's a
mid-laner.
lot of things that went into that, but look at this. They're just poking back and forth.
Oh, yeah, Nien taking quite a chunk out of his own health bar there just by checking in. And Prototype, you know, he has a strong lane against this as well as the speed boost from Rule 18. And that could be what Final 5 is really going to sell at in this laning phase right now. And now it's kind of a tense situation here. Glebe's going to get the catch on. Uh-oh, Prototype going too far forward, poked down. They don't quite have enough damage to take him out just yet, but they will make him sweat for it.
And he didn't even flash that there either. And speaking of summoner spells, they did end up using the heal from Rule 18. So that's a summoner spell advantage in that bottom lane for Fusion that they are going to have to keep a little bit of an eye on. But at the same time, Prototype is the one that takes Exhaust in this lane. He likes to split push, he likes to duel people, and that's a summoner spell of choice for him. So we're going to have to watch these jungle routes here. It looks like the bottom lanes might be starting on those jungle camps and getting themselves that extra little boost of EXP.
Yeah, meanwhile, Shorter Race and Rux, they're going to take the Gromp.
They don't do it.
Yeah.
So the bottom lanes actually just go straight to lane instead of doing the extra jungle camps. And look at this, Malkanoon already trying to apply the pressure on Rux and trade with him, knowing the early power of Jace.
Really, really loves to just start that off. Also, I like the Biscuit Mastery too, just a little bit extra sustain to deal with Lysandre. And yeah, look at that, already a huge chunk out of the health bar. And Macnoon, he doesn't even care about farming until he can just make sure he gets the last hits only. Rux is going to be in trouble in this lane unless he gets a little bit of help. Does get a bit of CS there, but it could be a long laning phase.
He keeps hitting these shock blasts back to back here in this top lane. That's a lot of pressure, and you can see he has some bits of utility so that he has those biscuits, but it also means he has a little more mana regen too on that Jace.
Yeah, everything else looks like it might be a little bit more even. Obviously, he's going to have a much better time than Gate to start these out, but once we hit level 6, we'll start seeing those crazy all-ins, the dash arounds between LeBlanc and Zed are just the craziest interactions, and I'm so glad that LeBlanc's back because we get to see this as spectators.
Yeah, you get to see a lot of outplay potential, you know, the highlight reels, another reason that LeBlanc has come back.
Very, very flashy champion especially, but speaking of flashy as well, I mean, Jace has been kind of a fixture for a little while now, and not just in the top lane, it's always been that option, but it's not always, ooh, Glebe. Gotta be careful there.
There's aggression across the board here from all of these lanes. People are just trading and getting those health potions out of the way as soon as possible. Shorter Race, we do see him back already before doing his red. Picks up his Trailblazer already so that he's going to get this red, and then he's going to start his gank, and he's already going to have that item, and he's going to be a little healthier than you would expect him to be when he comes out of the jungle. And another reason that everybody's able to trade so much in the early game is because these jungle routes are much longer now. You have a bigger window to harass people down and kind of capitalize on your lane bully potential with the champions that you picked. So you're like, jungler's not going to gank me at 3 minutes anymore. They're going to gank me at 4 minutes, 20 seconds, 4 minutes on the dot, which we're going to see happen right now from Shorter Race in this bot lane.
Yeah, he's going to be moving in on there. Whoa! Doesn't get the Sonic Wave on. He safeguards the ward immediately, but Ian was ready for that one, and Shorter Race has to back away from it.
Did get the flash from Glebe, though.
Very true.
So that's a trade of summoner spells in that bottom lane.
Speaking of trades.
But look at this.
Oh, the Spider lies in wait, jumps onto Shorter Race. Whoa, double buffs all around. They might get reset in just a moment, and he's actually going to be able to go in onto the Krug, saving his life. And he safeguards himself, and those Krugs are Lee Sin's best friend.
Yeah, big thing there too is he didn't have his Trinket Ward available anymore because he used it in that bottom lane. So he had to hit those Krugs. Very well played there by Shorter Race in the presence of mind to know that, but he uses his Trailblazer Smite to get some HP back. But look at this, Nintendo's still on that side. He has that ward down.
He's not interested in counter jungling. He's interested in just taking everything away from Shorter Race, and he will get his own Smite down on the big Krug now. Prototype and Rule 18 continue to trade out, but surprisingly, the Caitlyn's the one taking most of the abuse here. It's just so much sustain available from Glebe.
And Nintendo's having a lot of early game pressure here, which is something that he lacked back when he was in the LCS, was people were kind of like, you could do whatever you wanted against Nintendo because he just kind of farms his jungle with Elise and then he shows up later. But the fact that he made a very proactive play there, and then he forced Shorter Race to be reactive to him, was really good for Nintendo.
Yeah, it's worked out really well in the favor so far. Looking across the board at Final 5's overall game plan here, I know they love to take these skirmishy compositions, but this one is a little bit awkward. Prototype really does like this Caitlyn pickup, but how does it fit in so much to the kind of the all-in style, all these gap closers that everyone else has, and Caitlyn's just going to be taking pot shots in the back?
Yeah, Prototype's pretty much just going to be the commander in the back lines, just hitting people, trying to harass them. But also at the same time, they had taken a Corki, so he wanted to kind of play it safe and just get something for himself that has the range and is safe, as opposed to a Jinx.
Speaking of safe, Gates looking for it, trying to find the tower, trying to dodge. Whoa! Has to burn a flash, though, as Nintendo nearly hits him with the cocoon. And he has just been all over this map so far. Huhi also putting the aggression on.
Yeah, they're trying to shove this wave out because Huhi wants to back. He's got that level 6 on himself right now. Gate will hit level 6 off of this wave. But the fact that he's able to back at this time and has that back timer means that his level 6 spike is actually really big when he gets back to lane.
Yeah, little bit advantages, and that's what Fusion likes to do, turn them into big gains. Nintendo, he's got boots right now over Shorter Ace, so we'll be a little bit more mobile, taking down the Scuttler right there.
Spider beats grab.
Yes, it does. That's just the circle of life.
Yeah, he gets that for the vision, keeps his top lane a little safe, and Shorter Ace is actually going to walk straight over a pink board. They pinged it out, they know it's there, but they're just trying to shove this out so that Gate has time to back himself. You need that jungle pressure, you need that jungler to help you clear that mid wave so your back timer isn't completely thrown off, and that he's not sitting in that wave when Huhi comes back up and just uses his W and then clears the wave instantaneously. And now he gets out, he gets to back, he might lose a little bit of creeps, but he's already 3 up right now. So he has a little bit of wiggle room to lose this wave.
Yeah, and he's going to have a little bit more dueling potential now. At 6,
Oh,
it's always good.
Nien.
Oh, Nien is
Nien.
in trouble right now, knocked up. Prototype still yet to hit that level 6 mark. He's really hoping for it, but Nien will be able to back out of vision range. And yeah, you just cannot afford to get caught like that with the Janet Tornadoes.
Shorter Ace coming down to bottom, but Huhi is actually on his way there as well. Shorter Ace is in this bush. They don't know that Huhi's wrapping around. Nintendo is also coming from the Dragon Pit, and they're way too far up.
This is about to be bloody. Very, very bloody. Here comes Nintendo X, and they're closing the trap right now. This is going to be dangerous. Huhi shows himself. Macnoon with the teleport, though. Excuse me, it's Rux with the teleport, and they're just having to back off. Yeah, he canceled his own. And amazingly, no one dies, but maybe it's a little bit too soon for that one. Gate on the chase. He's got his death mark available, and he's not going in on it. Just sends a shuriken. Shorter Ace be able to find the Sonic Wave, and amazingly, no one dies.
That was really good by Macnoon to cancel the teleport. He knew that he wasn't going to get anything out of that, so he's going to shove it. Jace destroys turrets. He's got level 2 in his hypercharge right now, so it's not going to be as effective as later. But right now, they're taking that dragon. The first dragon might just fall into the hands of Final 5 this early on into the game.
Yeah, that's going to help them just a little bit. That first dragon is very important. Denying it is also especially important, but they are going to pay for it in towers, or at least one. Well, maybe not quite yet. It's half its way there, and Rux doesn't have the teleport. He'll be walking or floating the slow way. I guess, how does Lissandra move exactly? It's kind of like ice propels her forward.
She slides everywhere.
There you go. Like a glacier. Yes. Really fast one.
Exactly. And
he's going to get this.
Exactly. He's going to keep going for this turret. Turrets are actually worth a decent chunk of gold at this point, and the dragon isn't worth any. It's worth combat stats gold, though, because you get that for yourselves, but you can't buy wards with combat stat gold. He's actually going to leave that up right now and then come back to it later.
He'll be able to take it down with a stiff breeze after the fact, but, you know, this is the kind of trade that Final 5 is happy to make. They tend to favor these skirmishes, these little fights. Battle stats may mean a little bit more to them than keeping those objectives still standing, and for the time being, they haven't really given anything up officially.
Yeah, that's very true. They did end up losing that bot lane fight for a bit, though. The Corki power spike is going to kind of now go side by side with Caitlyn because he wasn't bullied out. They've kind of just gone up together. The poke, though, that Fusion has, and the fact that once you get poked down to about half HP or even 3/4 HP, Huhi can do his work and just jump straight in there and finish you off. So what Fusion has going for them is more of like a pokey follow-up team composition, and then Final 5 has more of this kind of skirmish you, pick somebody off, effectively comp.
But they also wait till the safe moment to do it. You see, they didn't really burn any undue ultimates there. Just a couple of summoners. Well, oh boy, Rule 18 though, he's the one taking a lot of the armor shred now. Nien is just zoning him out with the Gatling gun.
Junglers are both off on the side here.
Yeah, there's a tower. Oh, he's going to go in on it. Ace in the hole. It's only going to get intercepted by Nien. Now Shorter Ace going far forward. That's first blood. And it goes to Nintendo, but we don't have time to talk about it because Glebe going down as well. Deathmark doesn't even pop.
Here comes Huhi.
Yeah, he's going to actually gear up on Gate. Nintendo, he's trying to zone him out. Living Shadow, not quite up yet. There we go. They're going to knock up Nintendo, though, and he's already spent his repel. They're trying to chase him down. Huhi, it's still going. He's going to go in for it. Rule 18 just getting melted in Prototype. He has to run away from that one. The follow-up is real here, but Gate, does he have enough damage? He's going on the wrong LeBlanc, and he's down.
He's just trying to get out of there, and the collapse there by Fusion was executed perfectly. Shorter Ace actually flashed in. He wasn't 6 yet. He was still just a level 5 Lee Sin. No ultimate there available, and Nintendo hit the cocoon, but it's just for the harassment at this point.
Yeah, although Nien Nintendude, if you want to call them the duo, have had a little bit of trouble here just trying to deal with Prototype in the follow-up. They're a little bit too low, so they back away. That's wise right now, but Shorter Ace is still looking for something.
Yeah, Shorter Ace has not been able to make as much of a map play as he has in the past, and hasn't been that much of an influence. But look at this Rux. His ultimate's on cooldown. He used it on Macnone. Will this be the dive? He's going to try to all-in him and then go to the E. And
Wow! He got knocked out of tower range.
Yeah. At the same time, though, he could have taken his Glacial Path and then gotten out of there. But he had to blow his flash because of this.
He had 2 exits. Yes. But he got the kill. It's hard to 1v1 Macnone, even under tower. Especially under tower.
When you're E'd and that little travel time is happening, you can't use your Glacial Path. So if he hadn't have E'd and knocked him out of tower range, then he would have just taken the E because it stopped him from doing that. But it does blow his flash. Both are down. Macnone has his teleport. He's going bot lane, trying to make a play.
He might be able to, but Roulette, oh, that shock blast just starts to hurt. The bubble is on. They might look for the Janna, and they'll melt him down. That's Nian getting the kill. Shorter Ace kickback Macnone, and that might be the disengage.
Yeah, that'll be the disengage there. Both mid laners were looking to try to make some action happen in that bot lane. But look at this. We see Nintendude pushing the top lane, holding that from Macnone, so there's some presence up there. He's going to continue to push this bottom lane out, and we'll see what happens in that top lane. That turret was very close to going down.
They're going to be able to try to take a bite out of this bottom one, though. 3 members just to Prototype, and they're not looking for the dive quite yet. They know Gate is missing here.
Yeah, Gate's off on the side. They back off appropriately. Hui continues to push this mid wave. There's a lot of wave manipulation and kind of just tag teaming on minions here for Fusion, and I really like the rotations they're setting down.
Yeah, Hui's got the chains on. Gate's going to get stunned, but I don't think he wants to take this one. Yeah, Distort right away as soon as he sees Shorter Ace. And Shorter Ace has been mostly focusing this middle and bottom side of the map, but Nintendude, this guy's been everywhere. Look at him back. That's a lot of damage out of Rux's health bar.
Yeah, a lot of pressure from Nintendude here. You can see that he got the Trailblazer, and he's not even going for the upgrade of it yet. He gets the Sightstone immediately, then the Sword Shoes, but look at this in the mid lane.
Yeah, they're going to get the Death Mark on. Does he have enough damage? He might. Oh! That LeBlanc is just popped. Now Glebe is in a little bit of trouble as well, but Shorter Ace, he's not going to take it.
Yeah, and they're kind of keeping this LeBlanc in a place where she's not going to run away with the game. Gate able to 1v1 Hui, and there's a lot of 1v1s going back and forth here. Like, when you look at Final Five's lineup, you'd think that Fusion is just going to run away with the game very early on. But like I said, it's 4.20, and the fact that Final Five have adjusted to it this well so far has been very surprising to me. And also the fact that Nintendude has stepped up on this patch too with junglers.
They mentioned this in the pregame a little bit too, talking about how teams have adjusted, and Final Five has really exceeded expectations in that regard. I think Fusion's giving them a lot of respect.
And there goes Macnone. He left that tower. He treated it like pizza, you know? It's better the second time.
Yeah, didn't even need to microwave it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's better cold.
We know what else is better cold, the Skull Crab buff. Or Vision.
I just like it dead. That thing just kind of, I don't know, it just looks really annoying to me. It's like, and it runs away from you.
It does.
It makes
you wants to live.
Yeah. Like watching it squirm. Leave it at like 1 HP and you're like, I have this. Just
Ooh,
he
likes to live too, but he's living pretty dangerously right now. Gate gets a little bit of poke in the face. Ooh, they caught Shorter Ace, so the bubble's on. He can't get away from this one, and he's just down. That's Nintendude pouncing on him as soon as they get the lockdown.
It's the CC chain. It's almost like Morgana Elise back in the day. It's now Nami Elise, and they end up with the LeBlanc burst on the back. But right now, it is exactly the time for the Dragon. And Shorter Ace, 8 seconds, even on his respawn. So there's no way he's going to be around for this. And they're going to try to flank this bottom lane and try to get more kills.
They might be able to do it. Glebe's going to come in, but they have the knock up there. Rule 18 pushing them back, so they were ready about that time. Prototype going to try and ward off Nian Tanso from doing anything. An ace in the hole will prevent you from thinking twice about that. Oh boy, Gate. Uh-oh. Death Mark's on Hui. I don't know if they got enough damage there. That ninja's going down, and Hui stays alive. Meanwhile, tower taken down. Bottom lane. Nicely played.
They do get the ace in the hole on Nian Tanso, so he's not as healthy as he would have been. Also, they got Hui to about half HP. Shorter Ace is in the vicinity here.
This is a toss-up.
They do see him, though.
I mean, Nintendo really has this presence of mind if he can get the smite battle. Oh, Shorter Ace takes a shock blast. Tower was taken up top, but doesn't really matter too much. Shorter Ace chased all the way out. This Dragon should go over to Fusion unless they can get a steal down. No, they cannot. No smite available for that one. Whoa, hello. That's Shorter Ace going down. Now they're going to follow it up with the wave. No one's going to ride it today, but they are going to zone out Rule 18 and Prototype. They have the chains on Prototype. I don't know if they can pick him off here. It looks like they will.
Double.
Oh, that could be the double kill. The Monsoon was not nearly enough. One goes to Macnone, and the other one goes to Hui. Nicely played. Fusion taking a lot more than just a draft.
The double bubble by Glebe was great there. Also, Nian Tanso Valkyrieing out of the pit when he had the Sonic Wave on him. He was like, nope, not even going to let you get into this pit. And then Huhi with the follow-up. But meanwhile, Rux has been taking a tower top, and now he's on this tier 2.
Yeah, he's just kind of been continuing to push this out, and this is what you got to do when you can't get anything else back. Gate's now going to try to grab something in the middle. He's got a decent wave to back him up, but Huhi has an assassination potential, so yeah, Living Shadow right on out of there, and they don't seem to want to take direct fights at this point. I think that's smart.
Yeah, you still have a lot of items that you need to buy on Final Five's side. You end up needing the Zhonya's Hourglass for Rux. Rux has not even been a part of these team fights yet. His teleport was up, but he didn't really do anything with it. But you can see there, Niantanso had that on him, and then he just gets out of the pit. The flash, distortion, right out of that with the sigil.
Yeah, Huhi, when he's got you in his sights, he just does not let you escape. It's a Bloodthirsty mid. Whoa, Macnoon!
Bloodthirsty game.
Prototype, yeah, he's been having some trouble.
Just came back to somebody popping from a shock blast.
Oh, yeah. There's several shock blasts this game so far. Macnoon hits those with just such pinpoint precision. It's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, and the great thing about the Shock Blast, too, is that you can kind of set it up so that it's very hard to react to. It can hit you from Fog of War, and also the fact if you hit Q and then you E it when it's mid-transit, you can kind of see the line and be like, oh, that Q is going to hit if I hit my E, and then you accelerate it. So you don't always hit the gate for it, but when you do, you usually make sure that it's going to be lined up.
And I like this for Nintendo right now, too. We've been seeing like more releases. Obviously, he used to play the full AP style. Yeah. Transition a little bit over here in the items. He does the Juggernaut, which is what we've been seeing a lot of Elises do lately. And I think it's really smart because they don't really have a dedicated tank. And oh, shorter ace, he's down. That's Nien picking his second up. He's got quite a lot of assists in his pocket too, but a little bit of gold never hurts, and they're going to be able to push down this tower with a number advantage.
Yeah, and they're just going to muscle that down, continue down this middle lane. He's going to have to get away from that. Almost ate the Shock Blast on top of it.
Yeah, it's a good thing he's able to shadow step his way out of that one, but Gate having a hard time. Even though he does play pretty solid in the 1v1 game, the full team fights seem to be going all Fusion's way so far, and ooh, they're setting up the Death Brush.
I don't know who's going to check fight here, but Rule 18, you know, I've seen things from him where he face checks brushes, and they have this ward. They see people's positions. Rule 18 going a little too far forward.
Yeah, he's going far forward himself. The Monsoon will knock him back, and that might be enough for them to disengage it, but the trap nearly closing shut on that one. And Fusion is bloodthirsty.
They do get the ultimate from the Janna there, so we'll have to see if that is something that ends up being a tool that they could have used in the next fight. Big thing here, you were talking about the Juggernaut enchant on Nintendo. He's got the cooldown reduction. He's got that extra HP. He's just trying to stay alive and be a frontliner for his team, like a pseudo frontliner on Elise, because nobody else on this team is going to be soaking any damage. They're all poke oriented. They're all like very squishy type of assassin slash pokers.
By the same token, it's kind of a similar way here for Shorter Ace. He has the warrior enchant, but he still has to be that front line. So Lee Sin typically, gets a little bit of that damage and then goes full tank from there. And he's kind of going to need those stats going forward. They actually do really need this next dragon, and well, just mostly to get the third one. They want to be able to rotate around and take things without actually having to fight Fusion.
And look at this, he gets caught again.
Oh, but they might be. Ooh, he's able to safeguard away, but I don't know if he's going to live through that. He's hurting right now, and Huhi steps on a trap. Otherwise, you might see a dead Shorter.
Yeah, Huhi didn't have his flash available to him, but they do get the flash out of Shorter Ace. He used that to get away because he was afraid of the LeBlanc closing the distance. Meanwhile, we do see Gate pushing that bottom wave. He does have his Blade of the Ruined King finally completed, so he's able to just 100-0 people now.
Yeah, if he can do the 1v1, that's great. Now, Rux, though, he's getting chased down by Nien, Glebe, and Nintendo. Oh, nice dodge away. He's actually going to put his ultimate on Glebe. They have enough damage. Prototype's going to take that one going forward. And Final Five moving on with some excellent moves. Oh, boy. Ooh, that was close.
It was very close there. Rux, he hasn't been a part of these fights. He's been farming up. He has the highest CS in the game, and now he's showing up to these fights. He's got his Morellonomicon. He's very close to almost having his own. But look at this Gate.
Oh, boy. That looked like it hurt. He's going to have to Deathmark on, but he's already down. No chance. And Huhi coming up with the kill in the 1v1.
Yeah, a little too far forward there. Gets picked off for it. Rule 18.
Speaking of far forward, oh my goodness, that hurts. The Summoner heal having to be used there. Turret does get taken down, but they have to beat a hasty retreat out of this one. Shorter Ace separated from the team, taking a Shock Blast point blank. Then dude, oh, and he repels up to stop the ace in the hole. Cheeky move.
Repelled up late enough so it did put it on cooldown, because if you get it while it's in transit, then it goes on cooldown. If you get it before it actually leaves the gun, it's only a very short one.
It takes a while to reload. It's an old rifle.
Yep. From Piltover. Apparently, they're pretty futuristic, though. I don't know.
I think Caitlin's living in the past.
I don't think she muzzle loads that thing.
She does if you hit control 1. Anyways, Rule 18 has had not as rough of a time as we saw in previous weeks. He's been a little bit smarter about his positioning. I think that's been a big sticking point for Final 5 going forward. And you can see they're not taking too many unnecessary pokes as I say that. A Shock Blast hits them both, but they are doing a really good job at stringing Fusion around the map.
Yeah, in Final 5, Rux is doing a really good job in this top lane, just pushing it. His team just hasn't been kind of disengaging or staying away from the poke. There's only 2,000 gold difference between these two teams. Hui flashes out of it. He still takes the damage, though.
Yeah, it's half-half. This could go either way.
Oh,
the
he's
Rux
in
in tower
range.
range. Uh-oh, no! That's going to be Hui. 6-1 on LeBlanc, and all he's got is the Morellos. This is going to chance Fusion to take this dragon.
Yeah, and that's the fact that Rux hasn't purchased in a while, and now he has a needlessly large rod in his inventory. And Fusion, they're going to get themselves that second dragon, get themselves a little extra pushing power.
Yeah, and that third one will start to become pretty important as well for the movement.
Gate's trying to hide.
The fights. Yeah, I don't know if Gate
He's
can
a
get away from
ninja,
this one.
but-
Oh, he's going to the wrong base. Ouch.
Yeah,
I think Intended might have him on this one. It looks like it's
I
only
don't
a
know.
matter of time. They lock him up, though, and that's going to be McNoon taking the hammer to him.
Gate and Shorter Ace have not been having a great game at all. The jungle and mid synergy is extremely important on this patch, and it looks like Hui and Intendude really have that down. And Intendude's actually been functioning in this team really well. Like, I've been watching him, his map movements, and the communication that this team has is really good, especially in comparison to what Final 5 have been pulling off this game, which hasn't been that impressive because they're getting rotated on very easily, and the fact that they gave up that early dragon to Final 5 got it was just because of the bottom lane skirmish. So I think Fusion have really just been playing the map a lot better than Final 5.
I agree. And in terms of the jungle, Nintendo, he does pretty much everything this team needs him to. He's such a versatile player. He's got such a wealth of experience to fall back on. And this is a big reason why he's been such an integral part of Fusion's strategy. He's also the one that knows the most about these players on Final 5. He really knows how they work. Makes them tick.
How does he know that?
Gets inside their head, man.
He plays them like a Nintendo. Nintendo, play you like a Nintendo. Don't know where that one's going, but anyway,
it's quite all right.
Yeah. Sometimes you just say stuff.
I don't
like,
know
why
where
did that say
Nintendo's
that?
going. He's gonna find
He's going
Rux.
right in the bush with Rux.
I like how he checks with the spider. Great job. I mean, he goes in with it anyways. It's like a pet, but he does take a little bit more damage than he bargained for. All the same, Fusion controlling this map, as you mentioned, a lot better here. All the vision in this river. No one's going to be able to cross that.
Yeah, all those pink wards that they've set up, they're really warding as a team. And look at the inventory, too. Pink wards all across it. We actually see 2 in the inventory of Nintendo, so he's ready to just replace one that gets cleared. And now we have the Mono Spike here for McNoon in the top lane. He is ready to rumble on that Jace. He has basically all of the core items he needs for his damage, and they're ready to group up. They're ready to start poking things down. They'll probably put McNoon on a side wave because he just shreds towers, and then like kind of go back and forth and poke from the side, poke from an awkward angle that you don't expect it from.
They've been looking for kills so far, but they can really just start to knock down towers with not too much resistance here as Final 5 is just trying to cover their bases across the board. McNoon, find Rux though. Uh-oh, the ultimate's on. They might actually burst him down, and it looks like they don't have quite enough damage. Ace in the hole, can they cover it? Oh, Glebe is going to intercept, taking a bullet for McNoon, and that was a close call, but Final 5 still bloodthirsty.
Yeah, they get the Jace pretty much out of this next fight that's going to happen. He's very low HP. He's going to keep continuing to poke on the side, but he's going to have to back. He does have his teleport available, though.
Yeah, they're going to send the wave out. They actually want to try to take this one prototype. Oh, Hui's got to back away, but it was just so close back and forth. These fights, these kills just happen so quickly. They've got Rule 18 Monsoon to push him away, but he took so much damage from it. They knock up Hui. They're still chasing through the jungle. Nobody wants to go in on that one. Final 5. They're going to keep on buying time for Gate to split this one out, but here comes McNoon.
And meanwhile, Gate, yep, like you said, continuing to push that out, but
Hui,
he's still on prototype.
Yeah, he's able to pick that one off. Nice distortion, as well as the Mimic. Well played.
Yeah, he was able to just chunk him down a tiny bit, get prototype to back off, and then he just wraps around and does the exact same thing again when his Mimic was off a cooldown.
Yeah, Hui has been just an absolute monster on this LeBlanc so far. Now they're going to try to flank him here, though. Rux, he's teleporting in. Rule 18 is chasing. They don't have prototype.
Rux almost has his ultimate. It's coming up right now.
Uh-oh, but McNoon's also teleporting as well. He's not going to cancel this one. Rux, he's going to try to jump on everybody, but I don't think he realized that the Jace is here. The Shock Blast is going to zone him out. Hui, the godlike kill. He comes up with another one, and now Rux and Gate are just out of there. Although Shorter Ace, he might be caught here. He does not want to go back on Hui.
Rule 18 a little too far forward. Rux actually on the backside there. They're going to go after McNoon.
Yeah, they're going to jump on him. Oh, they managed to get the shutdown. Well played, Gate and Rux combining up big there, and now they can turn it around, maybe find something. Hui's going to dodge out the Sonic Wave. And again, they just grab little bits back in there, but they've got a way to climb.
And like I said, they have this pick composition on Final 5 side. If you don't group up and continue to poke people down on Fusion side, like when Mach Noon is transitioning from the side lane because he's trying to push his Jace, coming towards the mid, they're going to try to catch you out while you're getting back to your team. They just did that with Mach Noon from that little tiny part where he was coming over from the red, and they're going to get a turret for it as well. Just get these last shots off on it. Are they going to continue?
Oh, what? Where did he go? Rux gets the shutdown on him. I mean, that was a magic trick.
There was a guy there for a second. Now he's gone.
Maybe Hui can pull himself out of a hat?
I don't know.
In about 20 seconds.
He's dead in the ground, though, and Dragon is up in a minute. They need to set up for this, but this gives timers to Final 5. They can get the Scuttle Crab, no problem. They'll have this vision. And it's only a 2,000 gold difference between these two teams, despite there being 10 kills between them.
Yeah, they're really fighting hard for this one. Final 5, they're capitalizing on the rare mistakes that are being made. Hui just checking too far forward, and that didn't even have time to use his Zhonya's Hourglass now. Mach Noon, he's going to be able to take a bite out of Prototype, but they're still playing pretty safe on this side while they wait for the Dragon to come back up.
Yeah, the Zhonya's Hourglass in Rux's pocket is going to be really big because that allows you to not just use your ultimate on yourself, you can use it on somebody else and still have yourself be untargetable. It's a very, very core item on Lissandra, and he has picked it up. He's now pretty much matching the power spikes here of Mach Noon, who's going to start falling off. But, you know, Jace only falls off like a tiny bit. Not even that bad at all.
Roulette Tempting Fate always goes a little bit far forward.
Getting out of the spike, look at that.
Oh boy, that's quite a lot of damage. They caught Shorter Race in the bubble too, but they don't want to follow through. Instant flash from Gliblarbu to get him out of there. It's just such quick decision making, and it's very beautiful how fast these guys react to one another.
Yeah. Jace has really big spikes right now. He's going to start leveling off, not falling off. And people are going to start catching up to him. But look at this. They just go for the inside route here. They're going to start getting this turret poking off on the side.
Oh, and here comes Hui. He's going to find Prototype. I don't know if he has enough damage, though. The chains are on, and he's going to actually go down. Prototype staying alive, but they do take down Rule 18. 1-for-1 trade. Shorter Race getting the kill on Hui there at the end.
Prototype very, very low in the HP bar right there. Hui not able to finish the job. He still has Ignite in his pocket.
This is still technically a 50-50. Shorter Race is here with his Smite available if they want to start this Dragon right now, and Fusion is going to tempt fate by doing it. Rux looking around the side to see if he can come in. There is a pink ward in that brush. Oh, and he eats a Shock Blast. Doesn't do as much as he could have, though. He's going to go in. A little too late, though. Shorter Race, it's hammer time, and he gets knocked down, although it's going to be Nien Tanso picking up the kill as well as the Dragon.
Yeah, and that's going to be the third Dragon for for Fusion. They're going to have that bonus movement speed now. They're going to be able to get around the map, and they need that because they have been playing the rotation game here with their poke composition. And they also need to be able to answer this because they actually don't have as many turrets as you would have thought, considering this kill advantage they have.
Yeah, 5-4 in turrets right now. The gold game is still in Fusion's favor, and they have those 3 Dragons. They're going to be able to rotate very, very quickly. Really no need to change up the strategy, though. It seems to be working for them. It's just those small mistakes are what Final 5 keep punishing them for. Hasn't been as many lately.
Yeah, there's only been 7 kills in Final 5's favor, but when they get a kill or they poke you out somehow or they chunk somebody and pick them off, they get an objective off of it. 7 kills, 5 turrets, and 1 Dragon in their favor. They're really capitalizing off of the little gains that they get. When they get a kill, they do capitalize.
Yeah, and they also... Fusion has been not making too many of these mistakes, but yeah, again, they've been punished for it. The really big sticking point, though, is how well the positioning has worked out, in particular for like Nien Tanso, I want to say, also the same for Nintendo. They're both looking at a perfect game right now. Nien, in the previous 2 games, died a total of 1 time. This guy does not make positional errors.
Yeah, he's got that 40 KDA. It's now 49 KDA for him. Really comfortable on the 80 carry roll, despite who he's up against. He had a very rough early game, but of course as the shot caller there was a ton of action in that bot lane. Now Prototype though,
there's a ton of action here. He goes a little far forward and they just melt him down. Rux is going to pop the ult on Nien, but it's not enough damage, and Hui zoning out Shorter Race now has the chains on, has the melting health bar, but they give that kill over to Mach Noon. A big shock blast to the face.
I don't know if it was given as much as it was taken, but Mach Noon, he ends up taking that one. They're also going to take this turret as soon as this mini wave gets here because Jace at this point just shreds these turrets. We also have the Trinity Force on Nien Tanso, and look at his build. He's going for that huge amount of hybrid damage, so you can't really counter his build. He's got the Trinity Force, he's got the BF Sword, but he's also got Magic Penetration ×2.
Yeah, it really is hard to deal with that, especially. And they're going to keep going for this one. Gate was trying to split push down the middle, but Huhi going to meet him halfway there and be able to stop it. No minion waves, so Fusion will back away for now. But they're slowly pushing this one in, and Final Five starting to get suffocated out of their own jungle.
That just shows how much poke they actually want to do here with those double penetration.
Oh, but here comes Gate.
Oh,
jump straight on to Nintendo. Or, oh my goodness, he actually jumped on Nien, Tanso, and then Nintendo. But they didn't pop anyone. They popped Magnoon. Finally, Rux going in for the second win, and here they go chasing him down. He avoids the damage with the Zanya's Hourglass Ace in the hole. It's not going to connect. Rux is going to go down. Nien, Tanso unstoppable, but he might go down here, or maybe it's Glebe Glarbu. Nintendo next, the short health bars. Down goes Shorter Race, but he takes Glebe with him. Huhi going to follow up. Prototype, can he stay alive here? Nien is still going. Prototype all locked up. Triple kill. Can Nien get more? I think he does, but it's going to finally get taken away by Huhi, and they get the ace.
And that's a 5 for 2, and they're going to go straight down this lane and possibly start knocking on that inhibitor turret. There is 10 seconds before Gate is up, and he is the first member to show himself on this team. Gate goes in, goes after Nien Tanso. Nien Tanso just Valkyries away, and then Gate is pretty much out of the fight at this point. Rux re-engages, hits Magnoon. Magnoon uses the QSS, but doesn't matter. He's not ultied. Nothing's going to happen there. And Rux, he tries really desperately. He gets himself the Zonias. And look at this. As soon as that Sonic Wave Resonating Strike came out, Nintendo goes up, doesn't take that damage from the second part of the queue, and Shorter Race is forced to switch targets. Then, see Huhi from the side, and Nintendo re-engages. Very bold move there, because he could have been taken out, but he jumps straight on, lands the cocoon, and guarantees that last kill for the ace.
What a brutal match this has been so far. 31.5 minutes. We've got over a kill per minute there. And now they're going to find Rux. They're going to get even more. Oh, Huhi! Oh, the Zanya's. He didn't take any more damage. Magnoon was backing him up there. But again, we just keep on coming. It's like a boxing match. One left hook, one uppercut. It just keeps going, but it's Fusion landing all the shots.
That
32 minutes in.
The direction that Shock Blast came from made it look like it was Final Fives. It looked like Huhi was going to die there. But look at this. The pick.
Gate might die. Oh! That is why
the setup.
You take the shadow step.
He gets right out of there. He says, screw it, I'm going mid.
Yep, they actually are trying to take the bait on this one. The Baron, they could start this one up. Will they play chicken, though? Huhi's going to find Shorter Race.
Oh, this is it.
Oh, and Magnoon just polishing it off. And they are saying, that's okay, go for our base. We'll just clean you up after the fact.
Baron's still being done here, though, by Nintendo and Nien Tanso.
They can't get anything. Final Five can't really do much about this right now. They are going to be able to take this fight for a second, but the bubble is on. They're back in their base. The teleport's coming in for Rux. Can they make the damage? Magnoon, he's down. Prototype looking for more. Gate, though, he's all the way in the base, and Rux is just bailing out. I don't know if they've got this one. The Baron is down, but who had the better decision-making here? Rux goes golden for a second, but they might lose an inhibitor in this middle. Gate staying alive. He's just kiting and bobbing and weaving. It's a 1-for-1 trade on the game so far. 1 for 2 now. They finally find another one, and now Nien, he is going to actually just back away from that, and the inhibitor just barely lives.
Yeah, trading Baron for inhibitor is no longer a trade that you can effectively pull off because the empowered recall on the Baron. Nien Tanso was there in time. Nintendo was there in time. They were able to just come back immediately, and now this is a team that's been trying to split push all game with Fusion. Now they have a split pushing buff. They've been doing 1-3-1. They've been doing 4-1. This is going to help them immensely in closing out this game, and they just got a ton of gold from that Baron. He's worth 1525.
Yeah, it's quite a decent chunk of change on that one, and a pretty big gold lead for Fusion now. Looking to set up this dragon. Oh, actually, Nien buys something a little bit tastier, and he looks for Prototype, but he might have bitten off more than he could chew here. Wow, he goes down. That's Rux with a double kill on a silver platter. And that was a little bit too over-aggressive. Final Five still has some juice in the tank.
How much is it, though, and is it going to be enough to deal with this Baron buffed up Fusion that has about 7,000 gold on top of you? But it is going to be a dragon that they're there for first. They need to secure this dragon. If Fusion get 4 dragons, they're just going to shred through turrets, especially with Jace. And if they get 5, it's over.
They might lose a little bit more here. Magnoon going forward, but he is taken down. They will take the dragon as well. They did need to get that one back, so they will have 2 dragons to the 3 of Fusion and Final Five, still showing signs of life in this game. Big mini wave up top that Fusion has to go back and deal with.
Yeah, and while that dragon was being done, Final Five, they end up getting for themselves. But Fusion decided to try and contest it, and it was kind of haphazard. Instead, they should have been pushing a wave with Baroned up minions, getting at least something for it, because instead they just trade Magnoon for nothing.
Yeah, it's been these really small or infrequent mistakes that have been made that Final Five is capitalizing on. Almost every one of their kills, except for in those crazy back and forth skirmishes, have resulted from those little mistakes from Fusion, and it shows that they're not completely untouchable.
Yeah, I believe there's only 2 Baron buffed up members of Fusion at this point.
So he is not one of them.
Yeah.
But Nintendo is.
this. Maknoon has died. Huhi has died.
Nien has died.
I think Nien has died too.
Glebe has not, I believe.
Yes, I believe it's Glebe and Nintendo.
So they'll be utilizing them to try and push this one out. It's not always the most optimal thing to have your support the one, but the Nintendo will be able to do it.
Well, your support and your jungler are the ones with it left, and they're pretty much going to be grouped up at all times. So the split push is not as effective anymore, unless they split 2 members, and one of them being the support or the jungle. So they're going to have to group up here. They're going to have to force this Baron buff in a different way, and by actually just grouping up and poking.
The game gets so much more dangerous now that the map is completely wide open. The only outer turret or inner turret at all remaining is Final Five's bottom, and that is what Fusion is looking for here. They've got a wave to push to get there, but they are just doing their darndest to really control this jungle, and it's hard to answer back if you're Final Five.
They're darndest.
Yeah. Kids do say the darndest things, don't they?
Kids?
Casters?
Maybe just you. I'm not sure.
I don't know, man.
I haven't heard darndest in forever.
Used to watch a lot of Bill Cosby.
Okay. So they're going for the beat map and the poke count.
That's exactly what they're going for, actually. Up in the top lane, though, they have to deal with this. Final Fives are kind of letting the wave push on in, and Fusion, they're trying to keep the pressure on the middle and see if they can get a pick, but they're eventually going to have to back and deal with this.
Yeah, there's that huge you were talking about. They do have this bottom wave actually pushing in their favor, and Rux is looking for a flank. They don't know that he's there, but he's the perfect member to flank this team and catch somebody off. He has the Zhonya, so he can't be caught out, and he puts himself in an unfavorable position. It's actually a good one for him. And he does have the ultimate, which will still do damage if he puts it on himself.
Sneaky hanging out in the brushes, but Fusion not going to bite for that one. Although, there we go, they're revealed. Prototype taking a bit of damage there. Does have some of it shielded on up, but they're going to try to push this one in. Great wave clear, though. Final Five. Hui going in for the assassination. Can he find Gate? No, not enough damage.
Yeah, Baron buff is now gone off of Fusion. It was just that extra gold that they ended up getting for themselves now.
Glebe has been incredible at tanking those ace in the holes. He knows exactly when he needs to come in and position himself in front of it, and nobody has really necessarily been taking those bolts but him.
I think Nien took that one.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he just has that much sustain then.
Yeah. Well, also, he's going to have Glebe help him sustain up.
True that. It's really beneficial to have this Nami. The later the game goes, whoa, Hui.
Just reaching for it.
Every single time he wants to see if he can grab it. Whoa, that's a whole lot of burst, though. Nien takes a lot more damage than he bargained for, and they keep moving it on back.
At the same time, though, Maknoon landed a great shock blast there, which hit 3 members and chunked them to a decent amount of HP, basically returning it, and meaning that they might actually get rewarded with this turret just off the back of that.
Yeah, they're going to keep trying to siege this one down, and it really has become a poke war all across the way, and the Assassins just itching to try and pick somebody off, the weakened member of the herd. Nien taking a bit of damage there from Prototype, stepping on the trap, but here comes Hui. They send a shock blast back their way, and the siege just keeps on going.
Rux is kind of the catalyst here for these next couple of plays. He has the teleport. He's not pushing a side lane just yet. He's looking for it. People are eating shock blasts, and he has to pick his target perfectly, because Glebe can use his Chalice, or sorry, not his Chalice, his Mikhail's Crucible to get the debuff off. There are 2 QSSs on this team. There's a Zhonya's as well. He's gonna have to pick the right target at the right time, and then the team's gonna have to focus them out. Prototype, speaking of getting focused out, poked out. He's gonna have to back. This turret has a big shield on it, but that's not enough.
And they just have so much burst. You were talking about how well Maknoon can wreck towers. The rest of the team is right there with him, and they just take down that last one, not in the inhibitor line, and back on out of town. Mission accomplished, boys.
Yeah, Jace Corki, no problem taking turrets. They don't even need that 4th dragon just yet. But the fact that Final Five secured that second one for themselves is really big.
And the wave dealt with itself up top, so they're able to actually get a little bit more back map control-wise just passively in there. Now, Rux is moving his way up to deal with that one in particular, but it's going to reset for just a minute. We're 39 minutes in. It's like 2 really tired boxers. They're just like, all right, we'll take a breather, guys, and we'll get right back into it next round.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, if you take a break and you're at 6 items, which they're approaching kind of those thresholds in a little bit here for Fusion, it allows Final Five to kind of catch up. They're taking a little bit of a better breather. One guy is just chilling there, the other one's chilling there, but drinking water.
A little bit of a benefit to being able to do that when the other person can't, but clearing out as much vision as they can right now to try and keep this control. Baron's going to be live in 15 seconds, and that's where we might see these 2 teams start to tango, but Final Five playing it out very safe and controlled, and Fusion still looking to set up this death brush.
And the poke still coming out, hitting Prototype there. Prototype getting himself the elixir already. He needs that extra power to function in these fights. Baron is live, 30 seconds on Dragon. Look at this, the open inhibitor in the mid lane. Final Five, they're trying to get in there, and
Oh, Prototype, that's just got a sting, and they're going to go all the way in for it. Rux is separated from the team. Hui dashing in as fast as he can. Whoa, Rux's health bar nearly evaporated on that one, and it's just such a close call. He's not involved in this next fight.
Yeah, well, he does have teleport, so he can get back into these fights very easily. Looks like they're actually going to try to trade Inhib for Baron again here.
There's no tower. They might be able to pull it off here. Prototype, the rest of the team is there. Baron's starting to melt pretty quickly, though, and this might be the trade, but Fusion, they might be more than willing to take that one right now. They're actually sending one back to deal with it. Inhibitor is already down. Maybe they can get the flank off. Baron just going down after the fact, and maybe they can pick them off, but a nice maneuver through the jungle. Guerrilla Warfare for Final 5.
Pro tip, too, the super minions aren't as strong as a full minion wave that has been Baroned up. There's a little bit of an edge to that.
Rux right now, and he gets the Zhonya's on. Another Zhonya's for Rux. They're golden for just a moment, but I don't know if it's going to last too long. Deathmark on the end. Tanto, he might have the damage to finish him off. He does. Gate going around the side, picking him off. That's a double kill, though, over to MacNoon. They're trading back and forth. It's a 2 for 2 so far. Beating the disengage. Can they do it? 3 members still with Baron buff on the side of Fusion, and everybody just walks away. Heavy breathing.
Nintendo is extremely low right now. MacNoon is kind of the big part of this fight here. Look at this. Shorter ace. He's up. He gets the smite. That's 3 dragons falling into Final 5. They've now even up the dragon count. Prototype, the big damage dealer, left alive right now. Still eating all of this. He is a magnet for those.
Yeah, but he's been sticking around, perfectly positioned at that one, and really a 2 for 2 and what looked like it could have been such a wipe. It's going to be so frustrating for Fusion. They've got this edge in the team fighting, they think, but it just keeps going a little bit back and forth, a little bit back and forth. Final 5 coming up with a pretty decent trade there.
Yeah, a lot of this has to do with the Zhonyas and the fact that you delay people dying and then other people are actually trading at the same time. That was really back and forth. The target swapping from these two teams has to be on point in these team fights, especially since these QSSs, look at how many, they're all on cooldown. They're getting used as soon as they get hit with a CC, as soon as they can get out of it. You saw Huhi hit it, Zhonyas. Try to get away from Rux's burst. Very, very good at saving his life there, but then Rux had to follow in suit, and MacNoon just waited. He camped it.
Yeah, there's been an unreal amount of CC on single targets, able to pick off people individually, and it's so great to see like Final 5 and Fusion just duking it out here, back and forth so well, and it comes down to the slightest bits of positioning. And I mean, Gate in particular and Huhi have just been absolutely monsters this game. The KDA doesn't always show it, but they've been able to make some massive plays in their own right.
Yeah, and that was a really big play previously for Final 5 because they got the dragon and they also prevented that dragon from falling to Fusion, and they got 2 Baron buffs off. So you kind of stop more of the split push from happening, which is something that Fusion has been trying to do all game, but they've kind of abandoned past the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, and they're giving themselves a similar to Baron buff as well, that banner of commands for Rule 18. He's trying to help it out. Oh, can Gate live through this one? I think he might be trying to dodge out, and he's going to get the Deathmark on teleport coming in for Rux. MacNoon is in trouble, and Gate's just getting on out of there. Deathmark's not going to be able to pop him, though, and he's going to have to burn his flash to avoid the damage from Rux.
That's going to be the TP for it, but look at this. We see Nintendo off on the side. They're getting top lane at the same time,
They're not going back to this one. He's taking his time about it. Leisurely stroll, that's not what you need. They've lost the top tower. Fusion not covering their base right now. They're about to lose inhibitor number 2.
Go straight for this, but look at that, the empowered recall on those 3
Could
members.
Be
they get
fight.
back in time.
Rule 18, the
it's almost done.
I don't know about this one. They're going to just knock him down. Rule 18, not even in this fight. Prototype, he's being chased on out. That is going to be a double kill. Going over to end Tanto, they're looking for more. MacNoon can finish up Prototype with a shock blast if he wants. He's just out of range, too slow. Not going to step on the trap until a second, and he just shoots the whoop.
He fires his laser, he gets it, but look at this, the last outer turret available, he gets it before
They're taking everything they can out of this base of Fusion right now. Final 5, just grabbing what they can. They lose 3 members to none, but they're still able to come up ahead on this.
They're going for Huhi.
He's going to go down. Rux is going to clean him up. I don't know if they stayed a little bit longer for this one, but maybe they can take the fight. He puts it on the end, but he's going to be able to Falco away. Gate caught up in the bubble. They're going to take that consolation prize, but a double kill for Rux. Ace down, that's the ace, but they've lost 2 members. They've lost half their base. How can they get back in this?
There isn't too much that Fusion can get off this either. They kind of have to do janitorial duty off that ace because there's no Baron. They already have it on 2 of their members still, and that's all they can do is just defend. 2 inhibitors down. They only have Nexus turrets standing in terms of their turret count, 9 to 6, and they're not going to be able to get too much off of this.
They've been able to win these fights, but they can't grab back objectives. Just such a presence of mind for Final 5 to go in for a mission they knew they weren't going to come back from, at least until they come back off a fountain. And again, it's brilliant. There's nothing Fusion can do about this except just try to clean up duty on the map. Now they're going to look for some picks here. Going very bold. They get the wards out in the jungle. Nintendo has been fantastic on this vision control all game, but when you don't see those base hits coming, you can't prevent them.
Yeah, there are really long death timers now too. So when people end up dying in these next fights, they're really going to count. And it depends on if you get counter kills or not. Maknoon still hanging on to that Guardian Angel. He is really hard to deal with because he has that QSS on top of it. He is at his 6 items. The only thing you get now is Mercurial Scimitar. That's it. After that, he's done. He's at his power spikes here. Rux, same story.
Just about everyone's starting to hit that one. In fact, the only person in this game with an open item slot right now is Rule 18, and that might change pretty soon. Inhibitor does come up in the middle, and it's sort of a cooling off period here for Fusion. But again, you just see this incredibly terrifying hit-and-run offensive from Final 5 has been taking shape in Fusion. Despite how ahead they look, they're really not anymore.
Yeah, the gold's going to lie to you now, and so are the kills, because there are twice as many kills on the side of Fusion as Final 5, but levels pretty even across the board. We're seeing people cap out. Items, almost the same story here, despite it being a 10k gold difference and what they can operate with. Gate now has his Guardian Angel. All these turrets are down. Naked inhibitors everywhere. They get their pick of the litter where they want to go here on Final 5. And if they choose this bottom lane, they're all there waiting. And what's going to happen? They just show themselves.
Yeah, not quite as sneaky as Final 5 have been able to be, but again, 2 naked inhibitors, you have to do everything you can to protect this one. But Final 5 have forced Fusion inside their base. They can't get out, although they're going to try to find Gate here. Can he get away from this one? He's got the Guardian Angel and the Untanso valking over, but meanwhile, Final 5 again just tries to grab something back. It's so hit and run, but they might not get out of this one alive. The chains are on Prototype. They're going in. He might get melted, but he's sustaining up just about everything. Shorter Race face taking the damage. He's still alive. Prototype, that's going to be him going down. Maknoon coming up with a rampage kill for that one. They get 1 for none, but Gate's still taking an inhibitor here. They don't have an answer for it. Nintentude, can he get the kill? I think he can. The death mark's on. Maybe they'll be able to pop him down, but he's got his Guardian Angel already up.
He's going to go for it.
He's going to get popped for it. They still take the inhibitor down bottom. They're still going for more. Final 5 are trading kills for objectives perfectly here, and they might find Glebe. He's going to flash away. Maknoon is going to force Rux's flash. The chase is still on. I cannot believe this one, Cyrene.
He killed Huhi at the same time, though. He's going to go back in for Maknoon.
Yeah, Rux is going even farther forward. The Zanya's on at the last second. Glebe Glarbu, he's in the back with no damage. A double kill, though, does go to Maknoon, and it's so close. 1 kill to 4, but they still lose an inhibitor. There's still super minions up top. They have to deal with this.
Exactly, and the Dragon is live right now. Shorter Race is still up, so they still have a hope of stealing it if Fusion go for it. Fusion, they might have their eyes actually on the Baron instead, though. They don't give a damn about that 4th buff.
Yeah, at this point, you really need to grab everything you can to be able to take these straight-up fights, and Nintendo's going to start this one off with the Enton, so making sure that there's no wards around, trying to secure this one up safe. But Short Race is actually moving there, anticipating it. The ward will get cleared away, and they're going to actually send a teleport here. Maknoon coming in on this one. They're going to go all for it, but with Short Race only up and Prototype just coming off a fountain, there's not much they can do. They can trade the Dragon, though.
And that is going to be Maknoon using his teleport. He's not going to need it in the near future here. He just sticks with his team. Now they have that split push potential. They're able to push against these super minions effectively. Wave in the top, wave in the bottom. Shorter Race. Gonna have to get away from the Intanso here.
Yep. The Copter is mightier than the legs, it would appear, but he does get away from that one. Dragon should go over to Fusion here. They have enough power to burst this one down pretty quickly. That will be the 4th, and that's really the easiest buff to be able to start taking at this point. So Fusion needing everything they can get because their base has just been in shambles.
Man, basically, a lot of games you see people that have just cards in their hand and they're like, oh, I have way more cards than you. At this point, it's kind of like Fusion has good cards, Final 5 both have good cards, and they kind of just have cards that counter each other. It's like you have Baron, but you have inhibitors down. You have 4 dragons, we have 3 dragons. So like, it's not do or die just yet. But that's the thing, is that 5th dragon will almost guarantee an end to the game if Fusion get that next one. But they want to end it sooner than that.
They're needing to get every advantage they are, and it kind of feels like both teams are trying to top deck, to borrow your metaphor, everything they can. It's just been so back and forth, and the win conditions are so startlingly different from the way these teams have tried to play them out. Final 5, they're perfectly happy to get wiped as long as they take out 3 inhibitors in the process, and that means Fusion just can't react in time.
It's not going to be as good of a trade anymore, though, depending on if you don't get counter kills. Because if these death timers are so long, if you trade your life for an inhibitor against this team, you're going to pay for it, and you will end up losing the game after that.
Can see them playing a little bit safer here. And again, that controlled pace has really been the calling card of not just Short Race, but this entire Final 5 team. They're just so disciplined. And you really got to give credit to the coaching staff for making that happen. And, you know, as an underdog team, you often see these teams being a little bit more aggressive and trying to play the solo queue game. Just not the case with Final 5, and this is why they're here in the Final 4.
And we have a banner command on Rule 18, using that to try and at least get some pushing on that wave, but they're just going to focus that minion down.
They can just keep running, hit and run, continuing to go this one out. 50 minutes, and it has been just non-stop action all the way through. Fusion, frustrated, trying to get what they can back, but they've given up some jungle ground here as well, as Final 5 continues to just rotate around and grab any little thing they can. Royalteen, he's actually okay to eat these because he has enough sustain, he's got the shields, and it's better than everyone else taking it, although he might go down here in the end. Gonna try to chase him off. Whoa, gotta back away from that as the Sonic Wave hits him in the face.
Meanwhile, up top, though, it's Prototype and Gate, two people who just shred through these towers on this team. But look at that. Huhi's in the bottom lane. If they just stop Fusion from going top, they'll be able to just route them. They're sheepdogging them.
Oh, they're going to try, though. Shorter Ace, he checks a little bit far forward. It's all about those positional errors. Whoever makes the first one is going to pay the price. But look, they got super minions now. Gate, if he can stay alive, this is a great trade. He goes Deathmark. He's going to actually pop all the way back. Whoa! Back and forth, and that was a good use of ultimate just to keep himself alive. The minions, though, starting to knock down the Fusion foundations.
Yeah, if Gate had ended up using his ultimate a little sooner and had avoided the Mimic distortion damage, he'd be in a much healthier position right now, but he has to back, and he can't just lifesteal off of the camp. GAs are almost back up. There's about a minute left on them, but at the same time, Huhi bought his own, and Machnoon has his up top that's about to come up.
Yeah, this is just such an intense back and forth, and even though it's settled down a little bit, both teams kind of gasping for air just a little bit, there's still, the tension is perceptible. This is game number 1. Yeah. Both these teams really want to make it into the LCS.
Yeah, it's game number 1. I'm already going crazy. So it's a best of 5.
Might blow ourselves out at the end of this one, especially if it does end up going back and forth.
That's when you know it's been a good day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No complaints whatsoever now. I think no matter what does happen, it's already been a masterful performance now. Shorter Ace. Oh my goodness, just so close to landing skill shots every single time. And Huhi on this LeBlanc play, it's been a long time since we've seen that many dodges that well executed.
Yeah, his distortion and knowing when to snap back to it, really, really well played there. At the same time, though, look at this. Just all of these inhibitors are back up. Fusion, no Baron buff. They are back to even now. The gold difference between them is meaning less and less.
Yeah, now they're going to try to chase down Prototype, but again, those shields are pretty big right now, and max items, max levels getting to that point pretty quickly here. Gate trying his split push game out, and they're just trying to draw Fusion off. He's been doing this all game, although he was in the bot lane for a little while, and if they can draw the attention, they might be able to take a little bit more here. Dragons, a little less than 2 minutes away, and both teams are trying to vie for it. If Fusion grabs at that 5th one, they double all their previous buffs.
Yeah, Gate is just a hero right now because he keeps getting these inhibitors, he keeps trading his life, he keeps shoving out these waves. Look at that, shove top, go bottom, push bottom. Go, as soon as they answer you bottom, go back top. Like, we have global vision right now, we can see all this. But Gate is probably really scared right now because they could wrap all the way around bottom and get him. That's a very, very dangerous job to push between that tier 1 and tier 2 turret where they used to be up top.
Yeah, it's really no other way to describe it but guerrilla warfare, and it's a good thing he's a ninja right now. He has been just slipping in and out undetected so well this entire game, and yeah, he's gone down a number of times, but it's always been like this noble sacrifice for his team. They just play so well together, and Fusion, they also have this incredible synergy, but they're just getting frustrated and scratching their heads at the fact that they just can't catch any members of Final 5 right now.
Yeah, Dragon in 45 seconds. That Dragon would be the 5th one for Fusion, the 4th one for Final 5, and then they just put another timer on this game and delay it. Fusion want none of that. They want to shove this wave out. They want to get this turret. They want to end the game. But more GAs. Rux picking up his own now.
Yeah, and every tool in the toolbox being used here for Final 5. They're going to have Prototype. He was splitting. He's going to back now, but here we go. Fight might be starting. Ooh, boy. Got to be careful. The Ice Claw.
Huhi?
Back. Huhi. He's going to get his Zanyas on. Gate's already taking quite a lot of damage. They tried to send a little bit back more. The Ace in the hole will shoot him down. No intercepting at that time. But again, it's just poke back and forth. Gate's got to be 2 for careful. He does have his Guardian Angel on. He might need to use it in a minute. Huhi. That's the wrong LeBlanc they're picking down there as he jukes it out again. It's just been so back and forth. Final 5 looking for a little bit more here. Huhi can't get involved in this fight. He's far too low unless you can 100-0 somebody just like that. Actually cancels his back here. Shortage looking for it. The wave's going to come out. They might have the bubble on. Prototype and Rux. Can they go back in?
He goes in.
Here comes the Lee Sin. Gets the kick on Cleave. They're going to look for some more. Machnoon taking the godlike kill on Shorter. Can they follow it up? They trade jungle for support. Not the greatest trade right now for Final 5, but they're still looking to try and take this Dragon.
It's especially a bad trade. Like you said, when the Dragon is up, Nintendo, he has a lot of potential to steal this.
Hui
off
might
on the
even
side. This is a really strange dragon from Fusion.
They have to back away from this one. I think it's going to be good enough. No, it goes over. It's actually going to be taken by Hui. They're going for more, though. Shut down Gold. Kate, he gets it. They completely knock him down, and Mac Nunes should be going there. They're going to take everybody out. Almost an ace, and the timers are way too high. I don't think Nintendo can defend this one.
He can't. Final 5. They have no more turrets in the way. They have to just get this inhibitor and go for the Nexus. That is game from them.
This could be very much Nintendo doing everything he can, home guarding his way back just to defend it, but this inhibitor, it's got to go down. They can secure up even more if they want. The Frost Queens claim just to slow him down, and look at how fast they're melting through it. They've got minions here. They can try to go for this one, not even worrying about buying time. It's 20 seconds until anyone comes up, and that's Glebe. Nintendo, he can't do a thing. He's down. That's the ace. That's game number 1. 56 minutes in, and Final 5 takes it.
Against all odds. They just beat a team that has 5 dragons.
Yeah. When everybody else on the other team is Super Saiyan, it feels pretty good to be able to knock him down. And that is just the happy face of victory right now. What a fantastic start to this set. Game 1 going to Final 5, the big underdogs, and what a story it has been.
These guys were pulled together for their synergy by their manager. They have exceeded their own expectations as well as the expectations of everybody else.
Yeah, what a fantastic performance in that first set. And well, I think we are going to talk a little bit about that because really the management has had a huge hand in making these things happen. And talking a little bit with the coach and manager, Miss Peach, about how they kind of came together and they sort of came out of nowhere. They didn't have the hype that Fusion did, but they really had the heart.
Yeah, they step up every time. Every match that Final 5 has played throughout this tournament, they have been the lower seed. They were the lower seed when they were against Zenith. They were the lower seed when they were against Complexity Black with Prawley, Robert, and Bubba. And now they're the lower seed against Fusion in terms of just like their hype. And man, they have just been I'm at a loss for words because they are really...
It's incredible.
They are really delivering when it matters. They are behind all game. And look at this final fight here that happens. They spend so much to get this dragon, but look at they're inside of the pit now, and they end up getting the perfect amount of CC. Rux comes in, uses his Nova, and then that catches Nien out of position. Gate immediately capitalizes on that, and the GAs are used just kind of out of sync, and nobody's there to protect. And they end up picking up 4 of those members, and then they get Nintendo'd later. It's just really, really well executed there by Rux and Gate with the follow-up.
You mentioned that Rux was going to be that catalyst and the one that really, he ties the team together, but he also starts these things off and he just keeps a level head through it all. Very emotional, very passionate players. They come up with a win here and they can keep on going if they keep that momentum swinging. This is a fantastic start to them, and I think it can only get better from here.
Oh yeah, we got ourselves a series. Like people thought there's it's just going to be Fusion coming in, and nope.
That's Fusion's first loss in this tournament.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty big for them as well. I mean, you got to think about how the emotions swing both ways right now. So we're going to look at how that one's going forward, but we're actually going to take it down to Dash, who's going to be standing by right now with a member of Final 5. I believe it is Miss Peach, the manager.
Thank you very much, guys. I am standing here with Nicole Miss Peach Manning, who is the manager and co-owner of Final 5 with Motion Gaming. What a fantastic victory and a great game to start the series off. Just give me your thoughts real quick on your team's performance there.
We just didn't let our nerves get to us, and we stuck together. Didn't let the fact that we were down make us like quit.
Fantastic. We've got a long series ahead of us, so we'll get into more gameplay, I'm sure. But I do want to talk a little bit about your involvement with esports. Talk to me about how you got started in esports in general.
Well, I was trying to be a player. I was terrible, and I got benched by my own team. So they're like, well, you should try managing. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm bad. And I approached Mike Hunterson with Motion Gaming and Project Challenger. And I started building teams. I built a team that went to LA, my first team, and didn't work out. So I started building stepping stone teams for players that were up and coming because I feel the NA scene needs more support. And so I would just build stepping stone teams and then finally decided to just go for it, I guess.
All right, well, you went for it. But what was it about this team, this squad of 5, that you felt like this was the right time to really take that plunge into the challenger scene?
Well, we weren't even expecting to do expansion. Like, we wanted to try it, but we weren't expecting to do too much. It was actually supposed to be for next split. And they're just a great group of kids. We had an opportunity to pick up Rux, and he really surprised me. I care a lot about synergy. I care about how players are as far as work ethic and attitudes, and that's how I build my teams. I don't personally know a whole lot about strategy in games, but I've played a lot of sports before I got injured, and I know how to kind of run teams, I guess.
So you build your team around synergy, teamwork, things like that. Is it usually centered around one person, and then you build it out based on that person's personality, or are you just kind of sourcing the crowd for 5 guys who can get the job done?
Well, usually I pick a support and 80 carry because that's what I obviously know the most about. And but this time it was a top laner, and we actually, I think our bot lane was one of the last things we picked up. And so I just picked one player that had a great attitude, great mindset, and just went from there.
Now, for yourself as a manager, what would you say is the biggest hurdle when trying to, move up the ladder from, amateur to, to challenger to pro?
Well, I was a nanny for many years. Not that these are kids, but they are definitely younger than me. I'm 25, and when you're a nanny or you're babysitting, the mom comes in and says she's in charge, and it's like you don't get that respect from them immediately. You have to earn it. And when I first started out, I did struggle. Not necessarily a horrible reputation, but I had to really overcome and learn how to manage a team properly and how to gain respect of my players.
And then as a player, you've obviously witnessed the growth of a lot of players. So what would you say is the biggest hurdle that a player has to overcome in their journey towards the LCS?
It's really cutthroat with a lot of teams. You mess up one game and you're out, and they send you home. And there's nothing protecting players right now. There's no life coaches. Parents are often not involved with the players. They think, oh, video games are bad, go back to school. And so I guess the support is so low, and you really have to fend for yourself. And as a 17-year-old, you oftentimes don't know how to read a contract, and you can only go off of the owners on what the contract actually says.
All right, let's dive back into this team. What is the dynamic like when the guys are practicing? Who's kind of playing the lead role? Who, in terms of settling arguments, is that also a moment where you have to step in, or are the guys pretty good about taking care of that themselves?
Well, we struggled to find coaching staff at first, so I was basically with little knowledge. I was kind of trying to just keep emotions down, mediate conversations, and luckily they get along very well. So there wasn't a lot of yelling or anything like that, but just keeping nerves calm and being able to kind of mediate, that was the biggest thing. That was kind of difficult because I personally don't know a whole lot, so I had to go to outside sources to go, okay, well, who's right here? So.
All right. Well, a great. As you said, you didn't intend necessarily to get through the expansion tournament or this far. The intention was to join next season's challenger. So you've already kind of surpassed your goals. Have you guys, lofted them at all, or at this point, anything extra is just great?
Anything extra is just great. It's nice to meet them finally in person. Rule was on one of my first teams, the sport. So it's nice to finally see the guys and put faces. So.
All right, well, they're doing fantastic so far. 1 game in the books in a best-of-5. Still a long series, but spirits have to be high at the moment. We are going to have to wrap this up and send it back to the guys at the desk. Oh, one more thing.
Good games to Fusion. That was a really fun match to watch.
There you have it, sportsmanship at its finest. We're going to send it right back to the guys at the desk to get us into the next game.